India is in the middle of its mammoth general election, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi widely expected to secure a third consecutive 5-year term. The opposition, for its part, argues an undercurrent will vote Mr. Modi out.
Ahead of polling in the fourth of a 7-phase election, Amitoj Singh explores whether the answer lies in a relatively untapped yet growing force, nearly 500 million Indian women voters.
In modern India, women are leading us to a better future. Women-led development.
One of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's signature moves on display during a high point in his political career, addressing the US Congress, reaching out to India's women, perhaps the nation's largest vote bank. India's women certainly don't vote as a monolith, but the data reflects increased political mobilization. More women than men voted in the last election for the first time. 15% more women than men have enrolled to vote in this election. Nearly as many women are eligible to vote as men this time. And 12 of the 28 Indian states have more female voters. But a complicating factor, female labour force participation has declined, affecting the Modi government's women-led development narrative. As Mr. Modi targets a third term, he understands his promise to make India the world's third largest economy hinges on more women joining the workforce.
विकसित भारत देश की हमारी माताओं, बहनों, बेटियों के सशक्तिकरण के बिना असंभव है.
All working mothers now don't have to quit. Maternity में paid leave careers करे hit. Pro Modi का development.
Mr. Modi's government has introduced measures such as increasing maternity leave 26 weeks from 12 to make it easier for women to participate in the economy.
मोदी ने 6 महीने की पेड मैटरनिटी लीव कर दी है.
सर मेरे पास कोई गाय नहीं थी.
His Bharatiya Janata Party's manifesto says they've helped 10 million rural women become Lakhpatis, a colloquial term for millionaires. He's promised to increase that number to 30 million if elected again. Domestically, they've given more than 100 million poor women free cooking gas connections and vowed to expand the scheme. They have built toilets for more than 110 million women, run positive campaigns to educate and protect the girls. And yet, the image of a fairer, more equitable Indian society is challenged by shocking incidents reflecting India's deep-rooted patriarchy. Last year, in the East Indian state of Manipur, a video went viral showing 2 women paraded naked. They were allegedly taken away from a police station forcibly, and one of them was gang-raped. In 2022, the convicted rapists of Bilkis Bano were released and garlanded. She was 21 and pregnant when she was gang-raped in 2002. Her toddler and several members of her family killed. And last year, India's female Olympic wrestlers accused the president of the Wrestling Federation, a BJP MP, of sexual assault. But their pleas for action, they alleged, fell on deaf ears. Police detained the sportswomen as they attempted to march towards the new parliament while Mr. Modi was inaugurating it. Politicians across party lines have been accused of sexual assault. In Indian elections, the concerns of India's women seem to get less attention than religion, temple politics, and minorities, economic and development proposals. That is the irony in India, one of the first in the world to have a female leader, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Her own grandson, Rahul Gandhi, is dismissed as a poor alternative to Mr. Modi, along with the narrative that their Congress party is weak and no match for the BJP, like the rest of the opposition. Varnati Srinivasan, the president of the BJP's women's wing, says Mr. Modi has forced change to turn the attention to Indian women.
After BJP came to power in 2014, every political party is very keen on attracting the women voters by way of giving, including the regional parties here. Yeah. We want to give this to women, we want to give this to young women, we want to give this to that women. So now slowly the political parties are moving towards the women electorate. So far, they have not been given a proper attention, and we are under the process.
Even though the issues which are
directly related to the female vote, they are not being talked about much as such in media. But as far as politicians are concerned, I think they are very damn clear that, this is the biggest vote bank they need to address. And they are going all out to woo the female voters by announcing one scheme after the other on the social welfareism, by scheme announced, and yes, law and order, harassment, rapes, all these are becoming huge issues now.
In recent times, several elections in different states, including the biggest one, Uttar Pradesh, have proven how efficiently delivered women-specific schemes can be game changers.
Female voters are way more sensible. They just do not just look into what has been promised. They also look into how it has been executed. Construction of toilet became a big, huge rallying point for the females in Uttar Pradesh, because more than sanitation, majority of the female used to go either early in the morning in the dark hours or late in the evening when it's against dark. And that is where huge majority of unreported sexual crimes used to happen. It became an issue of safety and security, safety against the sexual crimes for the rural female of Uttar Pradesh. And that's how they won the election.
From homemakers to kingmakers, the strength of the female voter has been transforming, building into an undercurrent, electrifying the political conversation from time to time. In the past few years, women have been in the trenches, capitalizing on their collective strength to become icons of protracted protests across the nation.
82-year-old grandmother Bilkis is one such icon. She became the face of months-long peaceful protests against India's Citizenship Act, seen to be singularly discriminatory against Muslim immigrants, something the Modi government refutes. As women are mobilizing, changes have occurred in terms of equal representation. Mr. Modi's party appointed a woman, Draupadi Murmu, as its president, making her the first tribal and second woman to hold the post.
A woman has risen from a humble tribal background to be our head of states.
Modi hai to.
Mr. Modi's party also passed a historic women's reservation bill last year, which would allocate 1/3 of seats in India's lower house and state assemblies to women. He's vowed to implement this during the next 5-year term. The opposition Congress party promised to do it immediately.
I stand in support of the women's reservation bill. In my view, it is quite simple. This bill can be implemented today. We will do it the moment we come to power.
A prominent face of Mr. Modi's women's empowerment push is Smriti Irani, a former TV star who went from becoming the head of his party's women's wing to becoming the Women and Child Development Minister and the nation's first non-Muslim Minority Affairs Minister. Ms. Irani is known as a giant killer. In 2019, she defeated Mr. Modi's main challenger, Rahul Gandhi, in this constituency of Amitoj in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Doing that here, in the bastion of the first family of Indian politics, showcases a rising tide of woman power in Indian politics.
At location after location, scores of women flocked to see Ms. Irani, a standout icon of India's latest wave of female politicians, who is quick to remind them Mr. Gandhi avoided a rematch with her in this poll. The essence of her speeches paints Mr. Gandhi as one who runs away from a place he called home and a long-time seat held by the Gandhis. This makes him unreliable while saying that Mr. Modi does what's thought of as difficult, if not impossible, including on thorny issues of religion-based marriage. During campaigning in this election too, perhaps the strongest political statements have also been directed at women.
The first thing we are going to do is we are going to make a list of every single Indian family below the poverty line. We are going to choose one woman in each poor family in India. And then every single year, we are going to put 1 lakh rupees directly in her bank account.
कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है कि वो माताओं बहनों का सोने का हिसाब करेंगे, उसकी जड़ती करेंगे, जानकारी लेंगे और फिर उस संपत्ति को बांट देंगे और उनको बांटेंगे जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। मेरी माताओं बहनों, ये आपका मंगल सूत्र भी बचने नहीं देंगे।
Congress alleged Mr. Modi distorted the facts and complained to the Election Commission, which declined to comment. The battle for women voters is shaping up to be a big and bitter one, pitting the party that gave the country its first and only female Prime Minister, Congress, against the ruling BJP, which is trying to prove it's done more to improve life for roughly half of the country's population. It's a clear sign that India's economic and political future is now inextricably linked to its women. Amitoj Singh, CNA.